Hi, welcome to Spirited Art. We're going to be painting the unicorn with the rainbow today. I'm going to take you step by step through this painting. We only have 3 rules. The first rule is that this is totally your painting. So if you want to change the background and make it a full light blue with clouds, that's totally fine. If you want to change the color of the unicorn or its horn or its hair, that's great too. Second rule, don't drink your paint water. It's going to get yucky. Third rule, keep your brushes in the water when you're not using them because this is acrylic paint. It dries very quickly, both on the canvas and on your brushes. All right, we're going to start with the pink. So to make pink, I'm going to take a big scoop of white, and I want to make sure my brush is really clean. I'm going to take a pretty big scoop of white, and then just about a half a scoop, maybe less, maybe a quarter scoop of red. Mix that in, and I should get a nice light pink. All right, I'm going to start at the top of my canvas. Now this is a rainbow behind the unicorn, so I'm not going to go straight across. I'm actually going to make my strokes in a half circle, sort of a curve, upside down smiley face, whatever you want to think of it. And I'm actually going to bring that pink down a little bit further than I might otherwise because I'm going to turn that to orange by just taking my brush into the yellow, and I'm going to brush straight over top of that pink, and I'm going to get the orange. I'm still working with this in a curved fashion. I am going to go up to the wings, but not over top of them, and I am going to go around them. If you need to go around them with your little brush, that's completely fine. All right, so part of that curve went right behind the wing. The wings are in front of the rainbow. And if you go with too much orange, you can always go back into your pink and slim down the orange a little bit. You want them both to be wet when you're doing that so that they blend together. I'm going to now rinse my brush because I'm going to put straight yellow under the orange. So rinse really well. You don't want any of that orange or pink in your color. Okay, let's take, I'm just going to take a little bit of white and add it to the yellow. So it's still going to be kind of a pale color, not quite as bright as if I just used yellow straight. If you want your painting to be a little bit brighter, then you can use yellow straight, and you're going to come right under the orange. Again, in a curve. Where the orange and the yellow meet, they can blend a little bit. Skip the horn. If you can't skip the horn, it's okay. We can draw that on later. All right, so that's my yellow. I might have a little bit of yellow in between the wing here. Not sure. Probably just wing. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna add just a tiny, tiny bit of blue to that yellow that I already mixed, and I'm gonna get a very light green. So did you see that I took just a corner of my brush into the blue? You don't need a lot of blue because yellow is not a very strong color. And with this green, you're gonna come straight down to the top of the unicorn's head. If you wanna outline the ear and the wing area with your little brush and then fill in with your big brush, that's totally fine. Also, as you're putting these colors on, if you would like to put them on the edge of your canvas, you can wrap the color around. I haven't really been doing that because I'm using a reused canvas, but for yours, when you hang it on the wall, you may want to just add it to the edges. All right, I'm going a little bit towards the hair here, but pretty much the face, that's all gonna be blue and then some purple. So I have the green on. You can brush over where it meets the yellow just to make sure that's blended. And I'm gonna rinse my brush. Sticking with the pastel theme, I'm going to take a little bit of white and I'm going to add some blue to it. Okay, so white with a little bit of blue is going to make a light blue color. I'm going to add that right under the green. It's a little bit hard to make kind of a curvy shape at this point. You're just really adding on the blue. You can come to about the end of the nose of the unicorn You could make where it meets a curved line. All right, and then I'm gonna add just a little bit of red to make a violet. When I add the red, it may darken it up, so I may need to add some more white. I only add just a little bit of red, so in this case, I think I'm okay. But if your purple gets too dark, you can always add just a touch more white to it to keep it pastel. It's gonna be like a lavender color, and you can go ahead and add that in. That looks a little dark to me. If it looks dark when you put it on the canvas, you can actually just dip your brush in some white and brush over it. So watch. If you want it to get a little bit lighter and you already put that color on, just brush some white over it. You can lighten it up. As long as it's still wet, it'll blend right in there. Okay, let's rinse our brush really well. We are going to use straight white for the unicorn. If you wanted to make a brown unicorn, you would mix all three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. Then you could actually put some white in it if you wanted it to be tan. If you wanted a gray unicorn, you could take a big scoop of white and just a little bit of black, and you could make a gray unicorn. I've seen that before. I'm just gonna make mine white. All right, everywhere in the face of the unicorn except the eyeball. If you paint over the eye, it's fine. We can add that back. And I know what you're thinking. The canvas is already white, but this will make it just a little bit brighter. You can see I'm using a reused canvas, so you might be able to see that snowman behind the unicorn. But anyway, it's still making it a brighter white. All right, don't go in the hair. If you painted over the ear with the green, you can use your little brush and redraw that, just that little triangle up there. White will go over any color. You might need to use 2 coats if your green is dark, but it will cover the green. Then I'm going to put the white in the wings. This whole area behind the hair of the unicorn is the wing, or are the wings, I should say. Okay, let's make the hair color. I've seen a lot of different hair colors on these unicorns. I'm gonna make mine a hot pink. I already have white in my brush, so I'm just gonna take a scoop of red, and then I'm gonna put just a corner of white in there. You can always add a little bit more white just to get a hot pink. You don't need a lot of white for this pink. Saying that, I just dipped 3 times. But I was only taking a little bit each time. All right, here's my hot pink. I'm gonna add that in, the hair. If you wanna outline this section with your little brush and then fill it in, that's totally great. Great idea. If you are taking the color around the edge of your canvas, you can paint the edge. All right, and generally speaking, the hair that's the mane is also gonna be the hair that's on the top of her head. Satisfying. And probably to get that little curl, you might wanna use your little brush. I'm gonna put a little pink in there, but I'm gonna come back with my little brush to finish that out. Okay. All right, I am going to take my little brush. The first thing I'm gonna do is actually add some of my green into that area right behind the hair, because I noticed that I didn't quite fill it all in. And I do have a little of that green left. So very carefully, I'm just gonna use my little brush and fill that in. Try not to get in the red though. It's still wet. Okay. All right, the next color I'm gonna use is black. I am going to use my little brush. I'm gonna be filling in the eye and the ear. You wanna make sure when you're using black that your brush is very dry. I'm actually squeezing gently the bristles of the brush just to make sure that I'm not gonna have any black drips go down my canvas. And in the ear, I'm just gonna follow the shape of the ear. It's basically a triangle with rounded corners. My white is a little bit wet, so it's turning a little bit gray, but I'm just gonna put some more black over that when I need to. And then I'm also going to fill in the eye. If you covered over your eye and you can't see it, you can make a diagonal line from the horn, and it's right in the middle of the head. You can actually draw a circle, draw it small. You can always make it bigger. It's harder to go the other way. Or you can just put your bristles in the middle and rotate them around until the circle's big enough for the eye that you want. I think the original has pink. You can cover that pink and then put the black over top when the pink dries. And the other thing we're gonna do with black is we're gonna make a very small oval, very small, it doesn't need to be big, for the nostril at the end of her nose. Okay. If you wanna make it a little more round, you can certainly do that. I think of it more as an oval. All right, I'm ready to outline. You can see in this example, she has a gray outline. I actually gave you gold on your palette. A lot of people like using gold for the outline. So I am gonna use a little brush. I actually have to go grab gold real quick. And we're going to fill in the horn and do the outline. We're also gonna make some hair, waves in the hair, so give that a little bit of definition. Again, you could use a different color. You don't need to use gold, but it is kind of magical to use gold. So in the horn, you can actually see when you put your brush, when you lay it down sideways, the gold will actually go on thicker. But to fill this in, I'm first going to just paint it. You can actually do a second coat and you'll get that thicker look to it. It'll be a darker gold color. But when you're doing the outline, you want to keep in mind to kind of lay your brush sideways. And we might need to go over this twice just to give it some thickness. So you're going to outline the entire unicorn ear. You're probably going to want to dry yours too. If it's not dry, or you can take a little break and get a snack. This would be a good time for that before you start outlining. You're going to come all the way in. With whatever color you use, you're going to come all the way into the mouth, around, and then down her neck. Also, we're going to outline the wings. And this separates the wings, that line right there. When you outline, you want to use fairly light pressure so that the line is pretty thin. Okay, and same thing when we add these wavy lines in the hair. You can just add one or two. They don't all have to go all the way down. Same thing here. One can sort of follow the curve. If you outline these, if you add in the hairlines and you don't love them, you could probably wipe them off with a wet paper towel as long as that pink is dry or whatever color you use for the hair. You can wipe them off and try again if you want to. Okay. One. Good. All right, so we have a couple things to do with white. First thing, we're going to take the back of our brush, dip it in your white, and you're going to give her a little highlight in the eye. Sometimes I've seen a lot of creatures with like 2 little dots. If you want to do that, that's fine. Okay, this painting up here has a little bit of a cheek color to it, so I used some of that light pink that I started with, and it looks like you rub it with your finger and give her a little bit of cheek color. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. Same thing with eyelashes. You want to put some eyelashes on her, that's fine. And then the last thing with the white that we're going to do is put these little lines on the horn. That shows that it's curved and that it has ridges. You can see that here they used black because they use gray for the outline. I'm gonna use white in the gold, but I know my gold is very wet, so I'm gonna try it. I'm not sure how it's gonna look. I might need to wait until it dries, and then maybe I can put those highlights on. Let's see. I'm gonna touch very, very lightly so that hopefully I don't push the paint around. These are like little smiley faces going down there, the horn. All right, I think that's it. If there are any finishing touches you want to add to your unicorn, you certainly can, but I think mine's all set to fly away. Thanks so much for painting with us today, and I hope you had a good time.